Max, will you be my date to homecoming?
I mean, it is USC's homecoming, but Frayne, I'm going to have to get back to you on that one because we got a show to run and Sports Scene starts now.
Welcome to the well-lit Annenberg Media Center. I'm Rachel Frayne.
And I'm Max Goldwasser. The USC football team is riding a 4-game winning streak heading into the Coliseum this weekend when they take on the Oregon Ducks. The Trojans haven't been able to string together 5 consecutive wins since 2013.
And more importantly, the USC Trojans have only defeated the Ducks once in their past 5 meetings, and even though Oregon is 3-5, it's not going to be as easy as USC may think it is to get that win. The Ducks have a true freshman starting at quarterback, Justin Herbert, who put up some pretty impressive stats that last game against ASU.
Yeah, Herbert actually threw for a school record 489 passing yards, something that hasn't been done there since 1989. So that's crazy right off the bat, and he's only a freshman. He really doesn't play like a freshman. It's pretty incredible. He's young, but he still plays with the demeanor that he has experience, and that's what you're looking for out of a guy who is, quite frankly, very new to the playing field.
Right, you could almost compare the whole situation to USC's quarterback situation. Sam Darnold came in, took over, gave that offense the spark they needed to really get there. Kind of seems like what Herbert might be doing in Oregon. Herbert actually took over 3 games ago against Washington, and it looks like he's going to be the guy to stay. Even Coach Helton is impressed with what he sees.
They've got a young quarterback that's really playing well right now. Justin, I think the whole Pac-12 went, oh gosh, they found their guy. The last 2 games, the kid's thrown for 10 touchdowns, has really provided a spark to their football team, and they're playing exceptionally well.
Even though it looks like Oregon may have found a new solution at quarterback, the team still needs some remedies to come out on top this season. Sports Scene's Aaron Glazer gives us an inside look at the Ducks.
After thumping Cal at home last week, USC will face the Oregon Ducks, the vaunted Pac-12 North champions of 2009, 2010, 2011, and 2014, whose up-tempo offense and coaching led the Ducks to perennial success. Well, the 2016 Ducks are a little different. These Ducks are in last place in the Pac-12 North at a mere 3-5, including a 1-4 record in conference. When you look at the Ducks' offense, they're not as bad as the record shows. They rank 3rd in the Pac-12 in scoring offense and 2nd in total offense, while USC ranks 7th and 6th in the 2 categories. But on the defensive side, Oregon's efforts are a little less promising. Their unit ranks last in the Pac-12 in both scoring defense and total defense. Opponents are charging up the field on this group with ease, and that has caused a lot of problems for Oregon as a whole. They often have to play from behind, having only led after the first quarter in 2 of their games all season. They allow the most first downs to opponents of any Pac-12 team and allow opponents to convert on 3rd down 46% of the time. So when they need to get crucial stops, they are not, which only prolongs the amount of time their defense is on the field. In short, they need some work. Last year, the Ducks went 7-2 in conference en route to the Alamo Bowl, but that was a Vernon Adams-led team. This year, the Ducks just have not been as strong, to the shock of many around the nation. While this matchup was one the Trojans used to circle on their calendars, this year it could have the makings of a cakewalk.
Oregon will not be seeing USC's dominant backfield at full force this weekend. Star running back Justin Davis is going to be out again with that same ankle injury. Helton said he has been making progress this week in practice, but his name is likely to appear on that inactive list for a 3rd straight game. Cedric Ware also, interesting story there. He was carted off the practice field on Tuesday, so something to look at there. He might also, probably will be missing some time this weekend as well. So with those 2 names in mind, what does that mean for the rest of this USC running back committee?
Max, I'm not too worried about it. They have Ronald Jones to fall back on, a sophomore tailback who actually had his career high against Cal, rushing for 233 yards, 1 touchdown.
Yeah, those 233 yards, most by a player since the Golden Era in 2005, so big things from Rojo there.
Right, and he has Dominic Davis to fall back on, another sophomore tailback, a little on the smaller side, but still really quick, determined. I think they're going to be fine on that point. Another injured player is defensive back Jonathan Lockett, who is still out with a hip flexor injury. No timetable on his return, and he injured that as well in their last game against Cal.
So lots of injuries, but there are still some people, some healthy people out there on the field. Let's not forget about them. One of those people, you may have heard of him, Sam Darnold, freshman quarterback. He's actually been posting a higher completion percentage, more pass yards per game, and a higher passer rating than the career averages of people like Carson Palmer, Matt Leinart, Matt Barkley, some USC greats. So some great company to be in there. Also, the kid's rushed for 149 yards this season, already more than any of those other three QBs had over their entire careers.
Right, kind of incredible. And Sam also has the ability to get the ball to, a myriad of players on his offensive core. And Helton commented on this. In his last game against Cal, he threw for 5 touchdowns, 4 of which were to different receivers. So kind of speaks to his adaptability there and his field awareness.
Yeah, he spreads the ball around very well. And when USC is putting up numbers that it hasn't really seen since the glory days, something's cooking right. Chef Sam Darnold is the reason for that, pretty much. And some even believe Darnold might be the best to ever quarterback a USC football team. Yeah, it sounds a little crazy, but when you look at it, those claims might not be as outrageous as they sound.
Right, but he is not perfect. Nobody is. Darnold seems to have a bit of a problem, you could say, with fumbling. He has 6 fumbles in 5 starts, 3 turnovers against Colorado and Cal. He really kind of loses his ability to get the second hand on the ball, which he may not be,
Hold that ball, Darnold. Come on, that's what we're missing here.
Right, but I don't think it's going to be a huge problem looking forward. Fortunately for him, the Ducks have forced just 9 turnovers this season, which is the fewest in the Pac-12.
Yeah, Darnold has given the Trojans a new hope for the Pac-12 South title, which, many people at the beginning of the season, they probably didn't think that was going to be a possibility. But the team still does need an extra push.